And while I'm on the subject, I may as well just come out right out and say that you cannot be left-wing and support moderators. Ever. It's completely contrary to left-wing thought. You know, so this goes for those Reddit anarchists. This definitely goes for SovietEmpire.com and RevLeft. You know, at least a couple of RevLeft members have contacted me personally and, you know, complimented me and apologized on behalf of RevLeft. But fucking Soviet Empire hasn't even done that. They're just full of scumbags that, you know, pretend to be communists and anarchists. You know, the problem here is that people don't seem to understand what exactly a moderator does. What a moderator does is impose their will of what is and isn't acceptable verbal behavior. That's all they do. They control you. They have no reason to. No one's in any physical danger, but they still seem to think they have the right to control you. And if you can't even get away from that control grid when it comes to just verbalizing things, how do you ever expect to get away from the control grid in the real world, in the practical world, where people's lives are in danger? So if you want freedom, if you want liberty, then you have to start here. That's why I make moderators my biggest concern. Because until you're willing to comprehend that we're not even willing to accept fucking freedom in our minds, how are we ever going to accept freedom everywhere else? So don't fucking bitch to me about the government, because clearly you don't care enough about your own freedom to be able to say what you want online, let alone talk about the government. You're not ready for the government. You're not even level 5 yet, let alone fucking level 100 to take on the government. You know, that's well beyond your means. You are not in a mental or physical position to talk about toppling the government. I am sorry. You are just not there yet. And, you know, and it aggravates the shit out of me. Because, you know, people want to bitch about how TSA scared, man. The government, man. Bullshit. You don't care, obviously, about your own personal freedoms. Or else you'd be more mad that some little punk-ass online is dictating what you can and can't say and where you can and can't go. And it happens fucking everywhere. So don't tell me that it's just, oh, well, if you don't like the forum, take your business elsewhere. I shouldn't have to. As a free individual, I should be able to go where I please and interact with people as I please, just like everybody else. If somebody else can have a Facebook, Jim Profit can have a Facebook. It's that simple. I don't give a fuck what Mark Zuckerberg says. I don't give a fuck what his little cunt, administrator staff says. The fact is, if someone else has a Facebook, I'm entitled to a Facebook. That simple. So, you know, that concept is lost to these revisionist scum. And what moderators come down to is they apply force to people. They force them to stop posting. They force them to post a certain way. They're not doing it in self-defense. There is no reason to do it because, like I said, there's no physical harm at stake, and you're in no threatening position. Them posting dumb shit doesn't stop you from being able to post. So it's not like the trolls and the spammers are somehow putting your content at risk, but by moderating people, you are putting other people's content at risk, so they are the initiator of violence. They are the antagonist. They are the attacker, the predator, the rapist. That's why I say I get raped. Because in every sense of the word, that is true. And in a lot of cases, moderators tend to be sexually perverse deviants that advocate rape. Like Richard the Rapist Buller of Order of the Stick. He advocates actual sexual rape. So, and I am not surprised by that because in the metaphorical sense, he is a rapist. And so, in that regard, it is already anti-communism because it is an attack on the innocent For no reason whatsoever. It's authority merely for its own sake. That means they support class hierarchy. They support the hierarchy of the moderators and then the peasants. The peasant member base that has no rights and is at the whim of the moderator's control. If the moderator's having a bad day, then some poor little member sap has to pay for it. And how can you claim to be anarchist, communist, even just a socialist, when you're going to support that strict line between one class up here and another class down there? You can't do it. It has no legitimacy whatsoever if you're going to bitch about everything else and then support this very blatant class hierarchy. There is no war but class war. So, that's why you cannot claim to be anarchist or communist and support moderators. You just can't do it. And it pisses me off that many think they can get away with it. You might be able to get away with it if you just claim to be liberal. But even then, the whole idea of liberalism is social leniency and social tolerance. And you don't seem to have a whole lot of tolerance going on when someone's opinion isn't your own. You don't seem to have a whole lot of leniency going on when your answer to everything is ban, ban, ban. Fuck that guy. He should never be able to post on my forum ever again. He is forbidden from being... Anyone that even mentions his name will be banned too. Oh yeah, that sounds like the calling card of open-minded artist who just wants to express that there's not enough love in the world. That sounds like a liberal-minded individual, doesn't it? That's what pisses me off. Moderators are the most conservative of the conservatives. They are worse than neo-Nazis. They are worse than these fucking dumbass rednecks that support Ron Paul. They are all extensions of that. Every conservative is an extension of moderators. Because at the core, moderators defend hierarchy, they defend class struggle, they defend all this bullshit of the right wing in its purest form. Because there's no reason for it. There's no reason at all for it, and they support it anyway. Just because they can. That is the epitome of evil. And I don't even know how anyone can rationalize letting this slide. It's one thing to say, well, what can we do about it? I understand that. But to say that it's okay, or to even say that that's the right way, no, never. At the most, you can only claim weakness, but you cannot claim agreement to this vileness. And that's what pisses me off. It pisses me off that so many are willing to submit to fake authority. They have no real authority. They only have the authority they have bestowed upon themselves. And you go along with it. You go along with the fact that somebody's telling you what the fuck to do. And you have no incentive for them to... You're not getting anything out of it. You're not getting anything out of them bossing you around and making you their bitch. That forum is your entitlement. As someone that pays for electricity to power the computer, to pay for the internet that you go on, and then you're gonna fucking tell me that some little twat behind the computer screen gets to dictate me? Hell no. Fuck you. I work goddamn hard for my internet. I should be able to browse any website I want, free of infringement. Especially when sometimes I pay for that shit. Like with Valve, that thinks they can ban people from Steam accounts that people pay for. So I paid for a fucking game, but then they still think they can ban me from it with no explanation, no compensation, and then to top it all off, some little fucking dumb pieces of shit excuse it. Oh, that's what you get for being a shithead. That you're a faggot. No, you're the faggot. And if I ever got the chance, I'd put a fucking gun to your head, and put a fucking gun to your family's head, and kill you all. I'd just gun you down like fucking vermin, because that's what you are, and you make me sick to my stomach. I just don't know what else to say here. There is no excuse in the world for it. It's just pure evil, and I'm sick of it. So, that's really all I have to say here. I just needed to articulate to you how exactly communism is incompatible with moderators. Because in every sense of the word, moderators is right-wing. It is authoritarianism, it is the worship of authority, it is the excusing of authority for its own sake. I am not saying that all communists are immune to criticism, that some have not compromised on their beliefs for, the perceived greater good. I'm not saying that, communists are immune to criticism, that they have used authoritarian means for, more liberal ends. I'm not suggesting that. What I am saying here is that moderators, as they exist today, as they function on the internet and on every website, exists for the sole purpose of rape, belittlement, humiliation, degrading, and, that right-wing system of class hierarchy. And you cannot claim to be a communist or anarchist and support that. So, that's really all I have to say.